First, we're going to run this product configuration wizard on the application server that will run Central Admin. Now, Central Admin actually can be hosted on more than one application server, and that can be a pretty good idea, but we just need to start with one of them so that we can get things kind of moving. This wizard is going to, like I said, create the farm, which means configuring IIS, configuring SQL databases on the SQL instance, and it will set up some shortcuts. It will take care of any firewall ports and so on that need to be done on the SharePoint servers themselves. Remember, we did the database ports ourselves because this process won't do that for us, but on the application servers and web servers, it'll take care of them. If for any reason you don't find the configuration wizard on the start menu, this is the URL where you can go, or I mean, this is the path on the application server where you can find it. So you can run this manually. This might happen to you if, for example, you use a sysprep image that had SharePoint installed on it in advance. Then that sysprep process would remove links. So you can get to it though. After we finish creating the farm, we will be prompted by the installation process whether we want to have it go ahead and set up all of our service applications. And in a distributed farm, I'd recommend that you answer no to that question, because if you answer yes, then what the configuration utility will do is it will set up a bunch of service accounts with the farm service account. That's probably not what you want. So in this process, we're going to do this manually. It doesn't take that much longer to do manually. It's just you need to do a few more steps, but it'll give us some more control over the environment. And then in the next kind of lesson, we'll have the farm installed already, so we'll go ahead and add the other servers into the farm so we can start building out our distributed solution. So I flipped over to the SPApp1 application server, which will host Central Admin. In my farm, I'll just have Central Admin on the one machine. You could actually put it on others, and I'll show you an option to do that. But the first thing we're going to do is run this configuration wizard. And the configuration wizard looks like this. It's pretty easy to run. It's just a next kind of a process. This is a warning just saying that it might need to restart some things. Obviously, that's fine since this is a brand new environment nobody's accessing yet. Very important, we want to click that we're creating a new server farm, and then we have to tell it what database server we're going to connect to. And even though it doesn't say it, it does mean database server and instance. So in this environment, that's spdb1/SharePoint, which is the instance name. The default SharePoint config database is fine. And then we put in here under the database access account the farm credentials. And always remember in SharePoint when entering credentials to enter the domain name. If you don't, it will assume you mean local credentials, which most of the time don't work. So I'll get my credentials entered, click Next. And here I have to enter a passphrase. This passphrase will be used when additional servers are added into the farm. So we don't want just anybody to be able to add servers to our farm. As the SharePoint administrator, we want to control that, and that's what this passphrase does. So I'll enter that passphrase, click Next. Then the next form is asking me what port do I run Central Admin on, and it will generate by default just a random port, a bunch of digits. I have trouble remembering random numbers, so I'm going to put in a port number 2013. And then under security settings, I'm going to leave this at NTLM. In previous versions of SharePoint, if I wanted to delegate credentials with Kerberos, I would actually have to choose negotiate. But with claims to Windows in the 2013 architecture, I actually can just choose NTLM. And that's what I'm going to do because it makes my configuration a lot easier. So this form just asks me to confirm what it is that I selected, and I can back up if I want to, but it all looks fine. So I will click Next and then just wait for this wizard to complete, and I will kind of cut out in the middle and see on the other side. So after all of the steps are complete, we'll get a configuration successful dialog, which will kind of summarize the same information we saw in the beginning. And after IIS warms up and everything gets moving, we'll get this welcome dialog, and we get a yes, walk me through the configuration of my system, and no, I'll configure everything myself. We'll go ahead and hit the cancel button for the no. And at this point, our farm is created and it actually exists. If we looked in the database, we'd see some minimal content databases created there. IIS is set up, and we can see that we are landed at our central admin URL of SPApp1 port 2013. So in the next lessons, we'll go ahead and add more servers to the farm, and then after that, start setting up actual services in the SharePoint environment so that we can get things up and running.